Hey, bless everybody. This is King Kevin Dorival. Thank you for watching this video. And the reason for this video is because we got a big event coming up June 10th in Miami. I'm going to get more detail in a little bit later in this video. Quick video. I'm not going to take too much of your time, even though I appreciate your time and energy. And I hope you receive my energy, my positive energy, into your homes, into your phones, into your lives, you know? Now, this little Bobby Brown step that I tell you, I just felt like playing that to set the mood. Now, as I mentioned, I host the annual Black on Black Crime Solutions panel that we do every year in South Florida. I'm hoping to move this event to Atlanta, Chicago, New York, hopefully LA, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Dallas, Houston, whatever city is out there where there's majority Black population, and if there is a lot of violence in your cities, man, please invite us. The Courage to Believe International. We're a non-profit organization. We do have a 501c3, which means that when people support us, their donations, whether it be money or even a car, you know, it's tax exempt. No one has ever donated a car to us. We don't only just host the Black on Black Crime Solutions panel. We also host the C2B Chess Club and Mentoring Program, which came as a result of the annual panel that we have. Because, you know, you can sit there and talk about the issues. We can post the issues online and social media, but you have to be more than an arm rest activist. You know what I'm saying? Especially at times like this. They couldn't do that in the 1960s, you know, with the civil rights movement. As a matter of fact, what many people will actually find very surprising is that back in, I'm going to go a little history, so let me rewind a little bit. I'm going to go into a little history so I can show you what happened in the past and how it resembles identically what's happening today. You know what I'm saying? The police shootings of innocent young black men and women, or even old black men and women, that's nothing new. That was going on since the 1800s. As a matter of fact, in the 1800s, 1870 to be exact, the civil rights movement first started. And then we got the, I think it was April 15th, 1870, you know, the 15th Amendment was passed. You know, so once the civil rights amendment was passed, you know, now we had gained our civil rights, right? You know what I'm saying? And those of you who understand civil rights movement due to the era of Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr., Dr. Martin Luther King, then you understand what, you know, it took for us even to get equal rights. But we had it in 1870, which many of us have no idea about. But so what happened from 1870 to 1964, 1965, when the Civil Rights Act was passed again? We lost it. See, one thing with time and in history, people don't always win in history. You know, kingdoms don't last forever. Empires fall. Rome fell. Kemet fell, which is today's Egypt. You know what I'm saying? The United States may fall one day. You know, that's a country that I'm in. I mean, I appreciate the resources we have in the United States of America. You know, I travel the world, you know, a few countries. But at the same time, I've acknowledged the political, social, economic situations of different countries. I just came from Haiti. I've been to Bahamas. I've been to Jamaica. And I've been throughout the United States. And I'm due to go to London in October. Now, with the Caribbean islands I just mentioned, especially in Haiti, since I am Haitian, you see the flag back there. Shout out to all my Haitians. May 18th is coming up, Haitian Flag Day, Haitian Independence. You know, we fought for that. The Americans in this country had to fight. You know, our ancestors, because we all black, they had to fight to gain those civil rights. You know what I'm saying? Equal opportunity and things like that. And to be honest with you, the equal opportunity thing didn't really work out for us. Booker T. Washington was saying that back in the 1800s himself. You know, he wrote a book called, actually he wrote a couple of books, but the one book that I have is an autobiography. And in the book, you know, he explained how he wanted black folks to stop trying to include ourselves in the white American system and have self-reliance. You know, if we're gonna build a house, why not we already creating the bricks, so why not use our own bricks that we built to build our own house on our own land, to grow our own vegetables and foods and farms to feed ourselves, to be self-reliant. That's why the Black Wall Street was so successful. They were self-sustained, self-sufficient, self-reliance, cultural identity. They understood who they were. They understood that, look, white America doesn't want us. The system wasn't even built for us in the first place. We were kidnapped. We were forced into this country. And now many of us are doing good. Many of us. I mean, well, you could say a token few, you know, but there's a lot of, you know, you watch Black Enterprise magazine, you look into that, go to their website, you watch a few of their videos and read their magazine. Beautiful magazine, written by Earl. He started that magazine, a brother. He was very persistent and consistent in order to make that happen. And it's showing how Black people are doing good, you know. We got business owners, entrepreneurs, movie writers, authors, CEOs, presidents. Some of these Black-owned companies, Fortune 500s, which is cool, but that's just a token few. What about the millions of us who are still in unemployment? What about those who are still on welfare? What about those who still can't read? One of the things about the Black community that I can't stand, I love my people, is that we put an emphasis on sports. What about the millions of other young Black men and women who are not good in basketball, football, or can't run fast in track and field? Not take anything away from people like Flojo and Michael Johnson, you know what I'm saying, who paved the way for a lot of us, especially Wilma Rudolph. But at the same time, not all of us can run a 4.22 speed in a 40 like John Ross to get drafted in the NFL. So we have to be practical in our application of today. We can't base it on the few that are doing well. Yes, we need motivation. We need to be inspired. But at the same time, we gotta understand we have to have that cultural identity on lock. We have to be self-reliant. We have to love each other. The book that I'm holding in my hand, let me wind that. Not just love each other, but we have to love ourselves. We don't just need Black teachers. We need Black teachers that love Black students. You know what I'm saying? That love Black people, that love themselves, that love the Black culture, the African culture. Because if it's not, you just have someone else. For instance, Colin Powell, Black man, he's from Jamaica. You know, he went as high as you can in the ranks. What he was, chief of whatever it was in the United States Army. Matter of fact, I got his book here. I can tell you what they called him back when he, you know, the position he had in the United States government. Here we go. I knew I had it. But the main book I want to show you was book Black on Black Violence. But Mr. Colin Powell, this is a token Black man. Not to say he's a coon, no name calling, just saying that not too many people are going to reach the ranks of Colin Powell, how far he got to the United States. Colin Powell was able to become Colin Powell, moving easily between the Army and high positions in both Republican and Democratic administrations, has a unique perspective. As an active soldier, he experienced the sharp and political decisions in Washington. As an advisor to three presidents. I know Bill Clinton was one. I know George Bush was one, and George Bush Sr. So I believe it was those three presidents right there. Has seen how policy is shaped, and he has shaped it himself. It was Powell whom President Reagan summoned to the White House. So it was Reagan, Bush Jr., and Bush Sr. Now I know he has something to do with Bill Clinton as well. Now this book is a 600-page book. I've only read like a quarter of it. You know, I really don't have any interest in reading the whole book, but I do practice and study strategy. You know, one thing in the Black community we don't have strategy to anything. Nearly almost nothing. We just live, you know, by the flow of things. Hey, the way it flows, the way it is. That's not going to cut it, especially when we're at war. That's why we charge to the game, you know, the chess program. You know, we had to put our own money up to start the chess program. We had to put our own money up to do the first annual Black on Black Crime Solutions panel. And now we're on our fourth panel. And these are the flyers for the panel right here. This is 2017's flyer. This should be going on June 10th. Go to my website, thecouragetobelieve.com. This is the third annual Black on Black Crime Solutions panel, which we did in Pompano in 2016. The second annual panel was in 2015 in Fort Lauderdale, and the first one was in Fort Lauderdale as well. So we are moving forward. You know, we want to show, me as president, I want to show consistency. I want to show people that we are persistent in our pursuit for our people. We're not waiting on anybody. We're not waiting on Uncle Tom. We're not waiting on Uncle Sam. You know what I'm saying? We're not waiting on Joe Blow from the street corner. You know what I'm saying? We are doing this ourselves. And we need and we want your support. We want not just, you know, a few pennies and a few dollars. Share the stuff on social media. You know what I'm saying? If you're from Miami, share it. Because in this day and age, especially what just happened to Jordan Edwards, just recently in Texas, young man chilling, 15 years old. I remember being 15. As a matter of fact, I got a picture of me being 15 years old hanging right here on this bookcase. So I know what it was to be 15 years old and a black man trying to find your identity, trying to, get a girlfriend, trying to find a job, trying to excel in sports. This kid ran track and played football, if I'm not mistaken. You know what I'm saying? So his whole life is just taken away. But we are so quick. We are so quick to protest and get mad and cry and post a million things on social media against the police and the criminal justice system and the government. But we are slow because whenever something happens to a black person, that's what we do. But we are so slow. We are so, we move like molasses when another brother and sister gets killed by another black man or woman. We act as if, especially another black male, because that's who mainly doing all the murders anyway. All the violent robbings and the violent killings, the sexual assaults, and not just sexual assaults on women in general, specifically other black women. Not that it's justified to go violate another woman of another race. I'm not with that. Anyway, any man who violated a woman to that nature, who's going to take her innocence, who's going to force himself into her temple, because that's what a body is, a temple, you know what I'm saying? I declare war on you, you know what I'm saying? I do not respect it. Anybody violate any kids, I don't care if it's sexual or physical abuse, you know what I'm saying? I declare war on you because people like that, I actually have some other words I want to use, but I want to keep this professional because I have people who actually support me, you know what I'm saying, the corporate ladder. So I'm going to keep this kind of clean. But I'm going to tell you this. If you know someone who's actively sexually assaulting a woman and you sitting there laughing with him and you think it's funny, then you will busted your dancer. Matter of fact, you're even worse than that person because that person obviously needs to be taken out of the streets. Now, why am I bringing this up? That's black on black crime as well. You know what I'm saying? A lot of our sisters, a lot of our queens are being violated every day in every hood, and they can't even talk about it. They're even scared of the press charges. You know what I'm saying? Because of the man who just got released from prison, brought into the neighborhood, which everyone should have a right to have a roof over their head. I'm not going to say that you don't need it. But they dropping those rapists and child molesters right in the ghetto, right in the projects. You know, Tupac was very, very, very vocal about that and having an issue with that. Why they can't move those dudes somewhere else? Because they tearing up these sisters. These sisters get pregnant. These queens get pregnant. They're raising these sons, no father, which means that the whole community is being bastardized. A community full of bastards. Now, the bastardization of the black community is rampant. And you know what? Ain't nothing being done about it. And then those kids gonna raise other kids, kids raising kids. Now those kids are bastards as well. And they have no interest in becoming fathers or becoming quality mothers for the most part. So, some of us, we roses from the concrete. We do succeed. We do move forward past, being raised in a single parent home, even if we are lucky to be raised in a home. So these things, they trouble me, and they should trouble us as well, because black people, we just don't get it. I just watched a video last week of a lady from back in the 90s, and she made a video called Black People Don't Get It. We don't get it. So if we do not support the organizations, the workshops, the programs to make it better for our youth, what does that make of us? We become old. Who's going to take care of us? Who's going to be the leaders of this country? And so we have a generation of youth who has no respect. And you can see it today. You see the fruits today. They have no respect for authority, no respect for their parents, no respect for any type of order or traditions. And they're just trying to make it. And you know what? It's not even their fault. They're just trying to make it. They're trying to find a way, the best way they can. But anyway, before I go further, I want to read to you guys something that Dr. Amos Wilson wrote in his book, Black on Black Violence, Black Self-Annihilation in Service of White Domination. And then for those of you who are wondering, how can we support what this brother is doing? We have a website, thecouragetobelieve.com. You can find it on Instagram and Twitter at Courage to Believe, which is at, Courage, number 2, Believe, B-E-L-I-E-V-E. Facebook, and the GoFundMe. The GoFundMe is called Black on Black Crime Solutions Panel. Or just look up King Kevin Dorival. I'm not too hard to find. You know what I'm saying? I make myself available. Whether it's from Atlanta to, Miami, I'm here. Now, read something from this book. The title of this book again is Black on Black Violence, the Psychodynamics of Black Self-Annihilation in Service of White Domination. That's the title of this book. Hope you can see it pretty good through the camera. Now, to be an African living under European domination is to live in a time warp, to live out of sync, and is therefore tantamount to living in a state of false consciousness. To know one's time is to know oneself. To know one's rhythm and to live in accord with it is to live harmoniously and healthily. To live by running against the grain on one's time, to live according to another's time, is to live anonymically and maladaptively, which is going on today. We have a maladaptive community and ways of function, especially in our homes and our family. But that can be reversed. You know what I'm saying? It's a process. We were programmed. It took time to get us in this situation. It's going to take time to get it out, but there has to be a collective effort. When we unite together, we are powerful. Let me get back to this. Have been removed against their will from their continent, the Africans have been denied access to their own self-generated time rhythms. Rhythms, the means by which time reveals itself to consciousness, rhythms that were the very evolutionary infrastructures of their minds, bodies, consciousness, social relations, social organizations, destinies, and identities. More damaging than the capturing and domination of African bodies was the subversion and fragmentation of African time. Yet the psychological dismembering and reconstruction of African time was and is necessary for domination and exploitation of Africans by Europeans. Africans being Africans all over the world, including African Americans. Whether as slaves, social outcasts, second-class citizens, honorary white men, highly paid servants, entertainers, gladiators, or as low-life criminals, mendicants, illiterates, and slow learners, headless, hedonists, conspicuous consumers, poor or negative examples, and gaining control over the African sense of time. Europeans gain control over African consciousness through this and their behavioral orientations, power, and possibilities. And warping African time, Europeans warp African identity and attempt to ensure their slavish dependence. Who one is and what one is about, where one stands relative to others, is determined by one's sense of history, sense of present and the future, and the connectiveness of all three. One's perceptions of his past, present, and future, whether ordered linearly or non-linearly, form the space-time coordinates which defines oneself. Those who control another's perceptions of his history or her history, current reality and experience, and the assumption of responsibility for one's future, control his self-definition, and limit his behavior possibilities. Where these space-time coordinates become malleable, identity and related behavior become malleable as well. European control of European space-time coordinates, i.e., the European control of interpretation of the African past, present, and future. Whoever controls the past controls the present, therefore controls the future. Remember that. Means European control. Where am I? Means Europeans' control of African identity and vision. Let me repeat that sentence again, because it was too important. European control of African space-time coordinates, i.e., the European control of the interpretation of the African past, present, and future, means European control of African identity and vision. The Eurocentric shaping of African identity and vision to suit their imperial needs. The Europeans is disconnecting, scandalizing, stealing, and distorting African time, simultaneously fragment, neuroticize, and psychopathologize the African personality. Any African bereft of his knowledge of true African history, and conversely of true European history, is deluded of self-knowledge, self-acceptance, and self-love. He thereby fails to learn all the lessons and techniques his past can teach him. Lessons that the learning of which are indispensable to his and her liberation. He loses his memory and power of the word, suffers amnesia, and feels he was only born when delivered and slapped on behind by a European midwife. Consequently, he experiences and perceives himself as one who is yet underdeveloped and dependent and in need of European care and nurturing. Life outside of European paternalistic domination becomes a fearful abstraction. Now, wasn't that thought-provoking and deep? We're not control of our rhythm. Our heart has a rhythm. And if that rhythm slows down too much, that means we're dead. We're walking zombies. Going by whatever is projected to us through the cell phones, the social media, television, newspapers, magazines. The white media, I can't even say white media, the media, they project black men as criminals, as killers, as robbers, scum of the earth. And we go along with that to the point where we don't even trust another brother and sister. I just watched a video by, what's his name, David Seal, one of the activists in Ferguson after the Mike Brown incident. Matter of fact, he was an activist before the Mike Brown incident. So this brother hears this video, or someone who knows him tell him to hit me up. I sent him a message, I commented on the video he just made, and he was just saying how the organizations that truly need the funds, who got the GoFundMes and really is doing the work on the front lines, it means on the streets in the community in Ferguson, Missouri, aren't getting any support. And it's nothing but a lot of crooks and people from out of town with nonprofit organizations or whatever kind of foundations they have, and they're making thousands of dollars, $10,000 to $15,000 per month, going from hoopties to S550 Benzes, and not doing nothing for the black community. As a matter of fact, he was saying that the Black Lives Matter movement took all the shine away from the people who was really on the streets, because now Black Lives Matter is a hashtag everybody uses just to make noise, just to show, just to be anti-white. Being anti-white, man, look, all white people are not against black people, but a lot of us are against us, and I don't understand why is that. Yes, there are police brutality cases going on around the country. Look, Trayvon Martin was, obviously that was injustice. Mike Brown, obviously injustice. Sandra Bland, obviously injustice. Natasha Harlan in California back in 1992, you know what I'm saying, when she got shot in the back of the head at a Korean store, that was obviously injustice by the system, with white on black crime. But the black on black crime You got 6,000 to 9,000 black people killing each other every year in America since 1980. 6,000 to 9,000. There are more black men killing other men in the streets of America than in the Vietnam War. Look that up. As a matter of fact, every year, police maybe kill about 300 to 400 people a year. You know what I'm saying? Nearly 300 of them, majority of them black. I think the stats last year, 2016, was 350, 56, 57 black people were killed by police officers. I understand that's happening. But the reason why the white on black crime, the police brutality against the black community is a direct correlation with black on black crime is because you have people who, such as myself and those who watch this video, who feel frustrated, we're angry, we're mad, we're volatile now. We're in a hostile environment, like Dr. Boris Shanger would say. We live in a hostile environment. We're not getting any justice. So who do you think we're going to attack and let out our aggression upon? It's going to be against our neighbors. It's going to be against our brothers and sisters. It's going to be against the store owners there. It's going to be against our children, our lovers, our wives, our husbands. That's who the aggression goes to. So now you see how the white on black crime direct impact on black crime and increases those numbers. Now, I want to read one more thing for Dr. Amos Wilson's book, because if I didn't bring that home to you, then I want to, I definitely want to read this part to you. It's not going to be long. This is very short, but you got to read it. All those who think black on black crime does not exist, all those who think black on black crime is just a media name, does not exist, that we are killing each other, we are slaughtering each other, or designed, better yet, designed to slaughter each other. I'm about to prove you wrong. And by the way, this year's theme for the black on black crime, this is our flyer, ladies and gentlemen. This is our flyer from our chess program, C2B Chess Club Mentor Program. So we are doing something real. You know what I'm saying? You go to our website, you see our press releases. We are legit. We are actually a real entity. That's not a scam. Your support helps us continue this program, not just the chess program, the Black on Black Crime Systems program, and allows us to donate to other programs that are doing good things for the young women and young men. Some programs are just geared for black females, which is great. I support those. There's a couple of them that I support right now. You know what I mean? You got Girl Power Inc. You got Girl Talk. You got Concerned African Women down there in Miami. I support these three organizations. Now, you got ones just for the males. I support those as well. So, I go by King Kevin because I care about my people and I make things happen. Look me up, whatever the case may be. I just had to tell a little infomercial break, man. Let's get serious here. This is page 130 from Dr. Amos Wilson's book. The violent black on black criminal provides a premier example of severely frustrated individual who hostilely expresses misdirected aggression. Now, this is what I was just talking about. The victim of white American narcissistic racism finds a scapegoat in his fellow victims, like the white supremacist whose values, attitudes he has internalized and incarnates. He dehumanizes his African American victims as a prelude to the rationalization for their exploitation. So he finds a reason why he should be able to violate and exploit his own people, which is a shame. This is the black on black criminal we're talking about here. As a matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen, I have a blog coming out where I quote this very page. So you go to my blog, KevinDorival.com, to find more information. And it's about me, you know what I'm saying, as an author and all that other good stuff. You check it out. But anyway, identified with the white supremacist establishment which spawned him through its abusive, insulting, degrading, exploitative, overbearing, and castrating intercourse with his people. He turned on his own people. Having internalized the grossly evil and hostile attitude of white supremacist establishment, he seeks vainly to prove his manhood by brutally attacking and exploiting other black men and women. Terrorized by white supremacy, he creates his own terror, the petty terrors of small-time criminals, tyrants, muggers, household dictators, and emasculated bullies trying to act like the big boys. His mind and perceptions dulled by the Eurocentric miseducation or the lack of an Afrocentric one. The violent black on black criminal cannot see through the mental and political pettifoggery which obscures the many ways the white supremacist establishment so tortuously frustrates him. He feels that effects of his frustration but not fathom their sources. Frustration which motivates hostile aggression. Frustration which motivates hostile aggression is all the more compelling for the fact that its sources are hidden and can only be projected or externalized onto most convenient targets. Targets he can see, his neighbors, his lovers, his people. Thus, his allies, which he allies with the white frustrators in the unrelenting attack on himself and his people, his community, the black community. How convenient. The criminality provides his oppressors with rationales and the incarnation or annihilation of him and the continuing political, economic, intellectual, cultural subordination and mercenary genocide of African people. And thus, white America kills two birds with one stone. Thank you, black on black criminal. The violent black on black criminal, which is created in the African American community, which it dominates and terrorizes. So, I know I don't have a doctor's degree next to my name. Maybe one day I will. You know, if God puts that on my spirit, then I'll do it. For those who didn't believe me or fighting against, posting and ranting on social media, look, I'm not an armed arrest activist. You know what I'm saying? My team, our board members, we aren't armed arrest activists. We're on the front lines making a change for a better tomorrow. You know what I mean? So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is my first video all year that I made of myself on YouTube, and I know I've been quiet. I'm still here. I'm still blessed. I'm still balling. I'm still motivated and inspired. Still doing things. I just wanted to play the background role for a while, and I did that for the first quarter of the year. But now I must raise my head to gain support. We're looking for volunteers. We're looking for sponsors. We have program ads. We have, we have the Bush family, who's a black family of, a group of, they have their own symphony, like 9 children. They all play the symphony, for the group. It's called the BG Harmonies. They'll be performing for the event. We have the mayor of Miami Gardens. He's in support of the event. Mind you, I'm in Broward County, which is Fort Lauderdale, in Pompano, Deerfield, Hollywood, you know what I'm saying? And I'm coming to Miami, which is another county. But you see, this isn't just a Broward County issue. This is a national issue, international. You go to Africa and see the black on black crime because the system built it that way. They went there, robbed the people, left them with no resources, so now they got to fight each other to eat. And we got to put an end to that. But I'm not trying to take over the world yet. So anyway, be blessed, be encouraged, support what we got going on, spread the word at least, you know what I mean? And follow me on social media. thecouragetobelieve.com. I'm King Kevin. Much love. Blessings.